So, I want to talk about the left versus right. And I know I'm going to say things that are going to upset people on the right, and I know I'm definitely going to say things that upset people on the left. Um, and I'm going to look at this, and the root of this that I'm going to talk about comes down to religion. Comes down to a very few key points that I think are being overlooked, misrepresented, and if we could heal these. So, first, let me start with the right. See, the thing is that no matter how much you were to fear me, punish me, um, no matter what were to land and proclaim to be God, if it denied my heavenly mother, if it only wanted to show up in the anthropomorphic image of a male deity and claim to be the totality of God, I will never accept it. I will never be feared into ignoring my divine mother, ever. And I know there's a difference. I'm not a believer, I'm a knower. I know that my mother and father are equal, that the feminine and masculine energies are equally divine. What's happened on the planet in the name of the Father was not the divine masculine in any way. It was a false patriarchy. And I know that my Heavenly Father supports me because a divine being, whether masculine or feminine, are humble enough to honor and respect and understand the necessity of the genders, the dualistic nature. And the thing is these qualities are found in everyone. Men have feminine, women have masculine. They are energies within us. This has nothing to do with sexual orientation. This has to do with just certain energies. But love is genderless. Love is found in all. If Christ is synonymous with love, and it is, then Christ cannot be a man alone. It's an impossibility. So and I have friends and very, I mean, dear people to me, like family, that are Mormon, Catholic, Jehovah Witness, um, and other denominations. And the thing is that you know I at times I'm a far left individual, if you will, but I love them. I would die for them. They are beautiful people. There's just certain things that I'll say that they're hung up on. I have gone into churches and sat down and during Bible study and shared how I view these scriptures are meant to be, how they were misinterpreted, and how a lot of the teachings are not in line with love nor equality. It's like the concept of a pope or an imam or a president of a church. To say that a man alone is going to be the head of the church with women subordinate, it's not to be crude, but to be a very in-your-face, blunt remark in that a man's appendages is not an antenna to God. We are more than the flesh. We are the spirit. So no man has a right to tell a woman what she should wear. Islam. No man is to be the head of the priesthood, the this, the that. No matter what Pope, President, no matter what any scriptures may state. Now, it serves very well in maintaining power and to subjugate, but it has no spiritual truth. It has no spiritual relevance at all. To insinuate that women are less able to have that connection, a connection with God. And what's happened is, over time, due to, Council of Nicaea, right? Rome going around wiping everything out. And then here comes along this guy Jesus. Jesus being the rebel, going against the authorities, going against the religious establishment. Things start to change, and what happens after a couple hundred years, Rome realized it needed to co-opt Christianity, so it did. And so then the Pope became the vicar of Christ, and then goes around conquering and colonizing the world in the name of Christ, but doing the same thing that they did. And then, of course, that policy gets adopted by the monarchies, and it continues until tribes from all the way up to Germania to South America get wiped out, and the cultures assimilated by these churches, the scriptures, the Abrahamic religions, and splinters off, and you have all of Islam and the whole world fighting, and by the fruits you shall know them. Notice that nobody can agree on interpretations of, which is why there's so many different denominations of each, and the world is in chaos. When if they would have just stuck to the original mandate, love, it doesn't matter if you go to the Far East and the older messages of Lao Tzu. Look at Sun Tzu, look at Buddha, Krishna. It's all, the common denominator is love. Not about sin of this, sin of that. If it's just as simply as respect free will, and as long as that free will is not harming another to benefit the self, and you are allowing that other being to live their life in peace and harmony, then so be it. If two people agree, lesbian, for instance, to say that someone is a sin by who they are and how God created them is actually, if you were God created that, then to say that your God is going to punish someone being gay because they have that desire in them makes no sense. But if we just loved people honored their free will and respected everyone as long as it was their choice. Everybody has, even, I'll get into this in a minute. I'll get into it. If it was just as simple as love, how easy that would be. Now, what's happened is due to the oppression of women, of different tribes, of LGBT, for so long, we have what? A pushback. Because people realize, well, that's not love. No matter what you say, and no matter what your scriptures may say, that's not love. And so we have this pushback. And what happens lots of times when we push so far and here we go, well, it turns dark. Look what happened to the LGBT movement. Started out with, I just want to have pride in who I am as a person, into hypersexualized parades and overt sexuality. And in your face at times. And then creating a backlash, and it's understandable because it's, look, you want to say I'm bad, I'm this, I'm that, well fine, I'm going to show you. But then the few who conduct themselves like that then get propagandized by the right and feared, and it justifies the fears, and then they associate all of LGBT with that instead of just, what kind of person are you? And as I often say, if you have nothing more to define your character than your sexuality, well, then we need to work on our character. And that's not just for gay, that's for straight. That's for anybody. That's for everybody. I have said this about to people discussing the trans movement, in that, hey, instead of being so concerned about what sexuality you feel right, trap, this, that, let's work on building a person's self-worth for who they are as a person, as a human being first, before we even ever worry about changing someone's sexuality. And then that same pushback did what? I was watching the Super Bowl halftime show with J-Lo and Shakira, looking at all the esoteric symbolism in it. Look what they've done, what they have convinced women what liberation is. They have convinced women that liberation is here, from the time a child is old enough to stand and walk and sing, put her on stage in these young beauty pageant shows, having self-worth tied to how much she may entertain or how cute she may be, until the time that she's an adult. And then again, in J-Lo's circumstance, being on a stripper pole, back, assuming the position of Christ with the people under her feet. It's actually, while one would say that it's liberating that a woman can finally be herself, and yes, it is, it's been twisted to what defines her as her sexuality. So much to the point, and such a pushback from don't control my body to now treating abortion as if it's nothing. And please hear me on this. In my past, I have to live with circumstances that I helped participate in that led to an abortion. Prior to my awakening, I thought nothing of it. Now here's the thing, I wasn't evil. And this is the other problem with the religious right. It's, well, these people are saved, these people are damned. These people are good, these people are evil. These people will be rewarded by God, these people are going to go to hell. See, I wasn't evil. I was emotionally crippled. I was culturally conditioned by the world we live in. I was so hollow inside. The only thing I could feel sometimes were external pleasures. I was extremely traumatized, culturally conditioned, to the point of just complete apathy. I was dead inside. And how I awoke, that's another video, or how I healed, I guess I should say. And so to say that, this person's evil and that's evil, yes, but it's also based in ignorance, in cultural conditioning. And if it was more about embracing people and doing what we can to show the world that there is more to the Divine Mother, then things would change. And how tragic is it that women were oppressed, and the pushback is such to the point that people confuse the divine feminine, the Divine Mother, with nothing more than equally liberated to be sexually exploited and then extinguish the life within her when she's promiscuous. And please understand, I am not saying this person should not be with this person, or by all means, everyone must learn. But what I learned was, during those years, I had no self-respect. I did not honor myself as sacred. I did not see the reverence of my body. And unfortunately, in this world, we've been taught that sex is just something to pass time with. It's not that people are evil, more they've been conditioned and are hurt and have walls. And a truly knowledgeable, compassionate, loving, merciful Christ would know this. And if your God would punish everyone and be wrathful at everyone for how I know I was conditioned at one point, well, then that is no God I would serve, and I will gladly and humbly stand with the damned any day. And if love, and it was purely just love, instead of, well, God says this, God, here, what if it was just God says love? Do you doubt that if someone worked on their love that they would come to the internal truth on their own? Why does one need to give endless dogmas rather than just simply learn to love humanity and have compassion for all, to include the self? To have reverence for all, to include the self. That's all. And understand that all are equal. See, this is the thing. So many problems on the left are simply reactions created due to actions on the right. And a lot of the problems on the right and why people are so in fear and repulsed by things is because of the overreaction and the lack of maturity on the left. I would say only until we look at how we have not truly been loving and been reverent towards life will things ever truly change. It's a hard step to do. But everyone's worth it.